Yeah, I would say so. I don't see it personally very much, but it does.
Yes, I think it does. People just don't know it.
Yes, I think racism exists in America.
I think racism still exists today, and I think it is an important and pressing issue that deserves a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Whether it's active or passive racism, there's a lot of forms of it, and you see it in different ways.
Yes, there are stereotypes at Bethel.
I think stereotypes will always exist, and they do exist here at Bethel, but I think that through honest interactions with people and getting to know people more than through skin-deep interactions, that those differences can definitely be eradicated.
Yes, I think there are. Again, I don't know if they're intentional, but I think a lot of people come into Bethel carrying a lot of stereotypes from their background, their upbringing.
I really don't know. I mean, I think the lack of diversity makes it not that prevalent, or just not as well known. So, yeah.
Do I think that Bethel does a good job of stopping or confronting racism and stereotypes? I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I haven't seen a lot of intentional things to prevent it. Since the blackface incident that happened a few years back, that was the last time that I saw a really big, like a full out, we got to do something about it. But since then, it's kind of died out a little bit, and it's not something that's talked about as much, or is really talked about at all, at least from what I am aware of.
I think Bethel does a decent job getting rid of stereotypes and stuff. I mean, there's not really a large amount of different racial groups on this campus. So as far as stereotypes, there's not really any to be had.
I would say we're trying really hard and we're doing a pretty good job.
I think Bethel does a good job at,
I've even heard
I don't know what the correct word is, but I don't feel like there's any like dividing of races or anything like that. I mean, I feel comfortable around anybody of a different race, and I feel like I can be friends with anybody, so we all have the same faith.
Yes and no. Bethel is really passionate about preventing racism. Unfortunately, by sticking all the non-white kids, such as myself, together a lot into support groups, they end up just kind of being friends with themselves, and it kind of becomes marginalizing. Self-marginalization, though. So,
Okay.
it's the stuff in your P.O. box telling you, like, oh, because you're not all white, you can have extra help time with the teacher. So, I mean, that didn't really make me feel very good about myself. Apparently, if you're not all white, you need extra help.
I do think the Bethel community is segregated. There's small groups for students of color at this school, and they tend to always kind of stick with each other. And I think they should work to be broad, and I think the Caucasian students should also work to be broad. So it should be like a collective broadening.
I think that it is to some degree, but I don't think that it's intentional. People come into Bethel, whether it's freshmen or however they arrive here, maybe as a transfer, they look for people who are like-minded, whether it's athletics, academics, gender, or possibly even race. And so for that reason, the community does seem segregated at times. You can see certain groups forming. Maybe they're just hanging out in the BC, or they might be attending a school activity together. But there definitely does seem like there are unintentional but segregated groups at Bethel.
The Navigators are kind of their own exclusive club, so in that sense, yes. As far as like open racism, I don't think so. No, we're mostly white here.
I don't think we're segregated because like I interact with people of color at Bethel all the time, but I can't say the same thing for other people. And I think it's just a matter of like them being open to it and them being exposed to it, because like yes, there are Black and Hispanic and Asian people and many other cultures who go here, but people aren't necessarily exposed to those people, or they're just so used to the group of white friends that they just stay with them.
Okay.
So
I think maybe worrying about it less in some senses might actually help. and just kind of talking about how each human being is uniquely made by God, but not being like, hey, did you notice that guy was black? Yep, he's uniquely made by God.
I think that Bethel should work to get more students of color on campus. I mean, like the minority ratio is like, or like the percentage were like 5% minority or something pitiful like that. So, I don't know, work to recruit, work to obtain students of color and not just not have the same type of people in the school.
I would say, firstly, people need to get out and experience other people's cultures. Like, go into the city. Like, go to Midtown Global Market and like see what these places are like. Or go to, what is it? Central Comercial, I think, or something like that. This Spanish market down in Minneapolis on Lake Street. Like experience other cultures. Don't just like don't let yourself live in the bubble. Because when you don't know cultures, then you are less inclined to be with a culture.
I don't know. There's a lot of options and possibilities. You know, there's things you can do to raise awareness and focus, and be intentional about forming relationships and be intentional about, say, sending people to communities and sending people to environments that they're unfamiliar with. But even in doing that, you're not guaranteed results. You know, there's a lot of potential results, but there's no easy, simple answer.
Any thoughts I'd like to share, man? Shout out to my cousin, though. Shout out to my boy Peanut over there. You know, I just want to say hi, Mom, and I don't know, like, go Bethel Basketball Royals, because we about to shred this year, bro. And, you know, I've been working in my grades, so, like, gonna be eligible January 2nd. You know, we finna do this thing. And my boy Progo look like Mr. Tumnus, and Swedberg smiles like every 5 seconds. And any comments about the project? They did a good job. You should give them an A, professor, you know, do it for me. I'll come and give you a high five. I'm out of here.